sports has become a daily routine for an increasing number of Chinese women. They are also seeking the intersection of sports and fashion. How will this trend impact the strategies of sportswear brands? How will the power of women's sports change the industry? Today, I'm at the Nike Beijing's office, talking to Nike's global CEO on the rise of women's sports. In the new era of Nike Women, what are the driving forces for Nike to grow its women's business?
Nike's core mission is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete, we put asterisk after athlete, in the world. And the asterisk says, if you have a body, you are an athlete. And so women are the most important growth opportunity we have at Nike. In fact, as women's sports grows, Nike will grow. And what a year, what a time it's been for women's sports all over the world. Obviously, the Women's World Cup here this year in Australia and New Zealand. And these are just some of the examples where some of the greatest women athletes in the world inspire us at Nike to drive innovation, to drive storytelling, but also inspire a next generation of young girls and consumers all over the world to embrace sport.
There's so many events going on for women's sports. Nike delivered robust results in fiscal 23, and the women's division continued its growth momentum. Can you tell us more about the gains and challenges since Nike further grew women's business?
And as you know, we passed $50 billion US in revenues, and women's had double-digit growth. Our women's business is growing, and it's growing on the top of some very exciting innovation and some exciting storytelling. So some of the innovations that came out and are coming out that really inspire consumers are the Phantom Luna football or soccer boot. The World Cup team kits are some of the most innovative team kits designed for women for specific fit and functionality and breathability. The Motiva had just launched, and that, as you know, is a very innovative walking or slow running shoe that was designed by women for women, can be used for all. And so innovation is what's inspiring us and inspiring women consumers, and that is what's driving our growth in our women's business.
How is the women's business growth momentum shaping Nike's business as a whole? And in what ways has Nike adapted its organizational system to support the women's business?
We have now a very dedicated global women's team, and we've more than doubled our investment in women's sports science, design, product creation, storytelling, literally all across the things that Nike does so well. Nike Well Collective is driven by the insight from women consumers that they want a holistic approach to their fitness. They want to have movement. They want to have nutrition. They want to have sleep. They want to have rest. They want to have community or connection. A small example of that is we've recently signed over 1,000 trainers, women trainers globally, to help build not only fitness workouts and fitness exercises, but also building community. And here's a fun fact that just shows you that women are so active in China and all around the world. And historically, there's been 3.8 billion workouts done by women on Nike Train Club. That's more than 50% more workouts than men. So it's just an example of how women are embracing sport, embracing movement, embracing fitness at all-time highs.
In China, more and more women are embracing sports. How do such findings shape your strategies in developing this side of the business?
Well, at Nike, we always listen to the athlete. So when we listen to women athletes, a great example is listening closely to dancers in China. What they told us is they have a certain style, a certain look that they want, which has helped us connect more deeply into China dance culture, but also had an impact on not just our performance footwear that a dancer may use during the competition or while dancing, but also the entire look. And so that blend of both performance and style is just a great example of how women are helping us expand what it means to be a champion of women's sports.
So does this blend apply to the all styles for Nike worldwide? I mean, the trend from China?
Absolutely. China, again, is an example. That's where an insight in China around Chinese women consumers, particularly Gen Z, inspires us not just for China, but as you said, for the whole world. Innovations that happen in China with the Chinese consumer inspire and teach us to respond not just in China, but we take these lessons and apply them all over the world. And that's as true today as it's ever been.
What are the unique strengths that Nike has to better relate to the Chinese female consumers?
Well, as you know, we have a long history in China. China is such an important market for Nike, and it's been over 40 years, so that's been the case. 40 years of really trying to listen to the Chinese athlete, the Chinese consumer. And so our commitment to innovation, both global innovation platforms, where Nike and the Jordan brand are unique in what we're able to do, but also contextualizing those with hyper-local examples of those innovations and tailoring them for the China market. China was the first place where live streaming really came to life. And so we absolutely focused on hyper-local storytelling with live streaming, and now in social commerce. China is ahead of the rest of the world in embracing social commerce. And so we're embracing that so that the China consumer feels Nike is their brand. We've really, over the last several years, invested more in China. We have a phrase, China for China, which means now that our local Chinese mobile apps are locally done so they have better speed, better user experience. The storytelling and marketing we do is generated in China. And so it just allows us to demonstrate our long-term commitment to China, which is a very, very important market for Nike and Jordan and always will be.
The first 6 months of this year has shown a strong recovery in the Chinese market, and Nike China sustained a rebound with 25% growth in the first quarter. So what are your top priorities to maintain the momentum and to propel it in the second half of this year and beyond?
I was actually in Shanghai and Beijing in early June, and it was so energizing to see that sport is back, to see that the Chinese consumer is back on the streets, back with vitality and with vibrance. And that just inspires and motivates us. And so we are continuing many of the same priorities that brought Nike to where we are today with the Chinese consumer. Focusing on innovation. Innovation is always our top priority. And then the other thing that really struck me in China was this whole connected marketplace, that what happens online and what happens offline, what happens on a digital device and what happens on the street is now a blended and holistic experience.
What are your views on the prospects of the sportswear industry in the Chinese market? And how is Nike going to play a role connecting people by sports in China?
The Chinese consumer cares a lot about health and wellness. Gen Z is the most active generation ever in terms of embracing sport, embracing movement, embracing fitness, embracing health and wellness. And we're doing that in China, whether it's the Shanghai Marathon, whether that's helping in elementary schools, getting young boys and girls in China active through physical education and a recess and other places where they are able to be active. And so our commitment to sport, our investment in sport in China and globally is the way that we hope to promote a healthier and better lifestyle for not only Chinese consumers, but consumers all over the world.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me, and may the best team win in the World Cup, and hope to meet you in person one day in Beijing. Thank you, John.
Oh, thank you.
After talking to John, I'm very impressed by how sportswear companies have heavily invested in innovations for women in sports. As John just said, women grow, Nike grows. As a sports lover, I do encourage more girls to join the sports community and enjoy the power of sports.